Hi guys, how are you? It's Shelby, obviously, from Girls Behind the Rock Show. I am coming to you today to have a small discussion about front porch theft. Fun! So I legally don't know what, I can get in trouble for and what I can't, so I'm gonna try to stay away from anything that's actually accusing. I am just going to speak on the things that are already out there, and just that itself, why this person is dangerous. To be clear, as just a disclaimer in this video, the man in question has not been accused and or convicted of anything. Legally, by law, he is innocent. But that does not mean morally or ethically or by any other means that he should not be held accountable for his actions. And I've heard from a lot of people who are arguing for this person that we need to function on a level of forgiveness, and especially in his claim of Christianity. And I want to speak on that first and foremost a little bit, mostly just because that is a very, very dangerous path. We have seen in the past year, especially in the current cultural and American climate, what doing things in the name of Christianity can do. We've seen just so many of these things happen recently that are so horrible. To have somebody like this come back and to be welcomed because he is seeking forgiveness. I've read his statements. I understand what he is saying. It's awesome that you found God, or that you truly found God instead of being a fake Christian or a spiritual nut or what the hell ever he was talking about. But that does not excuse your behavior. Seeking forgiveness means you have, in order to achieve true forgiveness, as a Catholic, this is something that is instilled in us. Forgiveness is like the hardest thing to come by in Catholicism, and it's really weird how it's painted because it's really accessible, but it's internally difficult. Like, forgiveness is very, very accessible, but it's internally difficult because you learn that you have to do three things. You have to admit your faults. You have to be willing to change after your faults, and you have to be willing to confront your faults. And in the Catholic Church, we do that by going to a priest, by confessing to him what we've done, by doing all this and stuff. And we actually have to have a moment where we say and realize what we've done wrong. I've been going to confession since I was 8 years old. I'm a pretty devout spiritual person. I don't really go to church anymore, but I'm pretty devout in faith. I always have been. Faith is something that I question a lot of my life, but I know is always still there for me. And as a human being who truly does believe in her Christianity and her Catholicism and all of that stuff, when I see somebody like Front Porch Theft use it as a claim to get forgiveness, it angers me, because what he did wasn't just seeking forgiveness from the general population. There are a multitude of young women who were emotionally wrecked by what happened. There were a multitude of young women who were hurt, who were slaughtered mentally by this person. I have, obviously, Autumn and I speak. If you've seen us on the internet, you know we are friends. And she and I have had long conversations about things before, and her perspective is something I value very much as a human being. We don't always see eye to eye, but this is a situation where she and I very much do see eye to eye. I stand behind everything that she has done to handle, to deal with, to come out, to speak on this situation, because nobody else had that experience but her and the other young women who were involved. So we don't know. And you can't claim to know. And you can't claim to know that this person is a better person because he seems that way to you. You have absolutely no idea what it's like to be in those situations. You have absolutely no idea what went on in these young women's head. And you have absolutely no idea what he has or hasn't said to them. And that's really where my issue with this whole thing lies, is that this man keeps seeking forgiveness, but he's doing it in a very public forum. And from what I know, and I could be wrong, I'm letting people know I could be wrong, there has not been a situation in which he has come to these young women and said, I screwed up. I am sorry. This is what I did. This is why it's wrong. I understand that now, and I am sorry for what I put you through. He goes online, he makes Facebook posts, and he says, well, this is what I was going through, and this is how I grew up, and this is whatever. A lot of us were bullied growing up. A lot of us had some crappy situations with our parents. I am a victim of quite a few of those things, and I do not let it excuse shitty behavior. If I do something wrong, I do my best. I'm not always the best at it, and I'll admit, I really do try to make amends with people. I really do try to seek forgiveness, and I genuinely, in my own life, try to improve upon myself as a good person, so much so that I actually have a problem where I blame myself for things. And this man is not blaming himself for anything. He is absolving himself of all responsibility because he found God, or because he didn't find God, or because whatever his mentality is now, and it's not okay. So now that we've established where the apology issues and the forgiveness issues and all of that lie, I want to talk a little bit more about what we can do to create a safer space and to also not promote him and uplift other people who are doing better things at the same time. So some of the things that I've noticed today that's really, really awesome is absolutely no publication has commented on his comeback. And that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like, absolutely love that they're not sharing his music. They're not linking to him. They're not reporting on it. They're not saying anything about it. That's beautiful. I applaud every single publication who is doing that. However, silence also kind of breeds nothingness. Silence breeds more silence because it just is like, oh, it's not on our radar. Great, cool, glad he's not, but this is what should be. And what should be on people's radars now is promoting things like Safer Scene, promoting things like A Voice for the Innocent. Promoting us would be cool. We don't have to do with sexual assault, but representation in women in music and in life in general really does help with the sexual assault problem, because once you recognize women as equals and as somebody that you see as your own counterpart rather than somebody lesser than you who's there to serve you or to provide a service for you, you are less likely to treat them the way Front Porch that treated young women. Just throwing it out there, because your inherent bias is based on the lack of representation of women in professional and respectful positions in your life. It's one of those weird things where it's like people argue to not put men in the shoes of what if it was your mom, your brother, or your mom, your daughter, your sister, whatever, would you be upset? Because it shows ownership rather than this is a woman and this is a human being and this is why this is wrong. So when we're talking about supporting other avenues and venues, we're getting into the discussion of where you not only have to not acknowledge these people who do these wrongdoings, but you have to uplift the people who are trying to make these wrongdoings not possible. You have to uplift the people who are trying to make an effort to say, no, this is not okay, this is why this is not okay, and this is what we can do better. Autumn and Safer Scene and all of those young women have a much better understanding than any of us ever will of this situation and why it's wrong and what went on. We have a really great understanding at Girls Behind the Rock Show over here of why representation of women is so unbelievably important in anything. It's why we've been trying to do all the things we've been trying to do lately, and it's why I look at Autumn and I even though she and I don't always see eye to eye, I admire her so much, because it's very, very scary to come out with a story like that. It's very, very scary to have people call you a liar on the internet like that. It's very, very scary to face everything that she has faced in the past 2 years because of this person, and then to have him come back and to have people sit there and tell and be like, you need to forgive, you need to forget, you need to do all this stuff. Like, it's grueling, it's taxing, and it's something that I don't even know that I have the right to speak on because it's her experience. But as a friend, I'm just trying to kind of come up and be like, yo, we're here for you. And as a business, I'm trying to come up and be like, this is why we need what we need. This is why all of us are out here doing what we're doing, because it's men like that that prevent us from feeling respected, from feeling like we can achieve things, from being able to move on. And look at all the young women that he talked to. They were all in our scene. They were all right there in front of us. And this was happening to them, and we didn't even notice. And like, yeah, maybe they didn't tell any of us, but you know, you had all of these people on this tour who said they couldn't say anything, which is totally understandable, you know, legal contracts and whatever. But there's a point where, because they had no proof, they couldn't do anything. And it's terrifying that they didn't have the proof to do anything because so many young women were too afraid to speak up, or they were emotionally manipulated into thinking that this was okay. We have a representation problem. We have a problem defending young women. We have a problem, and it's even right here in our own scene. This isn't the Steubenville case all over TV. This isn't anything like that. This isn't even the, like, freaking jerk in Lost to Profits, which just makes me more mad, and I can't talk about that. It's none of that. It is something that happened right here at our Warped Tour, in our backyard. And we are not taking it seriously. We are not defending these young women, and we are not moving forward with things. And it's so frustrating because we come out and we look at this and we look at how many young women come to this scene because they feel the pressures of being 13 to 25 in this current world, in this social climate, and what's going on in our government and everything like that, and just constantly being looked at and told what to do with their bodies and told how to react. And we have somebody right in front of us who took advantage of all of that. And instead of saying no and saying, this is why we're saying no, we're just saying no. It's not enough. It's also a really bad way to get the people who are still saying okay to understand why you're saying no. So I guess this whole thing, and it's a little bit long and I'm sorry about that, is basically just to say, I'm really grateful for everybody who has stood up against what's been going on the past couple of days. I'm really grateful for everybody who is not taking any shit. I'm really grateful for all of the people who haven't reported on it, but I do think we can do more. I do think we can do better, as we always can as human beings, because we're fallible and all of that fun stuff. I truly do believe that this scene and stuff was once a safe place for absolutely everybody, and we can go back to that, and we can do more than go back to that. We can move upon and better upon a time in which everybody felt included and inclusive. And I'm starting to kind of feel a lot of this pressure as somebody who does this to speak up more openly and honestly. And that's scary, because there have been a lot of things that have happened, and even in the internal back ends of my own company and with other people and things like that, they're just not right. And at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to speak up. Autumn and I have had this talk multiple times. I think she's a great person. I think Safer Scene's a great thing. I think it's something that we need. I think she's a great person. I wish her all of the best right now. She knows that. I wish all of the people who are supporting Autumn the best right now. I wish everybody who went through this with him the best right now. I apologize sincerely that you have to see the person who hurt you up and out there again. You are important and beautiful and smart and everything good. about this music scene revolves around this small sect of people who are trying to do something better. We fully support you at Girls Behind the Rock Show. Anything you may need, you have from us. We love you, and we cannot wait to see what Save Your Scene does next. Sorry this is long. I hope you guys all learned something, or I hope my rambling made sense. Sorry I got kind of emotional, and I'm hoping that I get to meet and talk with a lot of you and all of you soon. Also, please feel free to come to us with anything. We are an open and safe space. I am an open and safe space. If you hit me up directly, we are here for everything. And we want to work with everybody and be a part of everything. Thank you so much, and I love you guys, and we'll talk soon.